Crystal blessings, everybody. It's me and Topaz here, and actually this video is going to be a little different and weird maybe to some of you because it's about the show Breaking Bad, and I am a mega super fan. So I discovered a tie-in to crystal healing, so I had to do a video on this. Okay. I don't watch TV. I don't even have cable, but I do buy DVDs of shows that I really like and subscribe to Netflix. So I really got into, before we got rid of cable, when Breaking Bad first came out, I really got into it because it's about, for those of you that don't know and don't watch it, it's about a chemistry high school science teacher. And some of you may know I am freshly out of being a science teacher myself. And he's a department chair, and I was a department chair for many years, and he was, I should say, and because he finds out he's dying of cancer, he wants to leave his family a large sum of money. Without getting into a big long story, he decides, because he's a chemistry teacher, he's going to cook crystal meth. Okay. Yeah, and there's kind of like a funny little tie in there because people used to, you know, I call myself a crystal junkie and say I'm a crystal dealer, and, you know, at my job it was kind of like a running joke, you know, that the double entendre thing there going. All right, so anyway, I get really hooked on this show big time. I don't watch any TV, but I'm like a whole season behind. I know season 5 is starting now, and I just finished watching season 4 because I purchased the DVD set. The only way you can watch it right now. It's not on Netflix. They only have up to season 3. Okay, and I know most of you don't even care about any of this. You're like, get to the crystals. Okay, but I am going to talk about the show. First of all, check out my beaker coffee mug, my homage to Mr. White, of course. And mwah, I love it. I love this season. Oh my God, they couldn't have made it any better. Right, Topaz? They could not have made it any better. The writers of this show are phenomenal. The producers, the actors, everything about it. Everything about it is just amazing. Okay, so I told you I was a whole season behind, and people at work were telling me when I was working, they were telling me, not that I'm not working now, but anyway, they were like, oh, wait till you watch season 4. You are going to love it. You are going to love it. And I'm like, why do they keep telling me that? I'm like, don't tell me, no spoilers, no spoilers. Okay, so I start watching it, and apparently Hank, the brother-in-law, he's a DEA agent. It's interesting for those of you who don't watch the show. And the show is so cerebral. It's such a thinker. It's amazing in every which way. So, you know, the whole thing is they make crystal meth, but Mr. White is a chemistry teacher. So his whole thing is making the most perfect, pure crystals that you can make. And you know, those of you that know me, I'm into crystals. I like growing them. I did a video on growing crystals. And the whole thing about growing perfect, pure crystals, and this, you know, those of you into geology and crystals, is about the purity. And also about how they cool. The more slowly they cool, the more perfect the crystals, the more clear they'll be. So someone who's really like, you know, most meth cooks, crystal meth cooks, could give 2 beans about how pure or clear the crystals are, but he cares. And apparently he makes a better product, but whatever with that. So everybody's really into his crystal meth. And so anyway, he makes these really perfect crystals and everything. Well, his DEA agent brother this season gets into collecting mineral specimens, which is so awesome. Oh my God, because he's bedridden, and he gets into crystals and collecting crystals. He's got the light, the big magnifying light that I have to look at the crystals. Oh, bye, Topaz. Okay, sorry, I'm moving around too much. I get really into this show, man. Oh, passionate, totally passionate about it. So he has the same light. He's got the jeweler's loop. You know, he's looking at the crystals, getting really into it and everything. And oh, I wish the writers and the prop people on the show had gotten with me on this, because there's one little thing that I caught that probably, I'm going to guess, nobody else on this planet caught it. Okay? Because very few people, okay, here it is. They do have chemists on the show. They consult with organic chemists and biochemists to make sure that everything that they're doing is realistic on the show. That, you know, when they're talking about the chemistry, that someone like me or some chemistry teacher isn't going to go, no, that's not right. I'm sure they consult with geologists when they were talking about the minerals, because he was given some factual information on a piece of rhodonite and how it oxidized into the color that it became and all of this. And you crystal healing hotties out there know what I'm talking about. So Hank is sitting there with his crystals, his minerals on his little bedside tray, and he's got his light, and he's watching, or he's listening to a podcast actually on geology to learn more about the crystals, and he gets into a conversation with Mr. White, and Mr. White, of course, knows all about them because he's, you know, science department chair and everything. And so he's trying to learn more about them, and they show, like, you know, he's got the stacks of geology books by his bedside, and he's trying to learn more about them. And I don't know who went and bought the books to put by Hank's bedside. Hank is a macho DEA agent, you know, it's kind of wussy-ish that he's getting into the minerals to begin with. But there's a lead in there, you know, he's getting really cerebral into the minerals and learning about the geology, and it's making him think more scientifically, which opens the door to him figuring some things out. So, not so wussy-ish, is it? No. But here's the thing. This is the book that's sitting on his bedside table, and all you see is the spine, the Book of Stones. Immediately, I saw that book, because this is one of the books that I recommend to my students in my course, and I talk about it all the time. And, you know, to the casual observer, and I'm sure they probably sent some people out to the bookstore to go buy some geology books, and they picked up this one because it looks like a geology book. In fact, I meant to bring out my other geology books out here. They're just going to have some pictures of some crystals, and they don't even show the cover of the book, I don't think. I think it's just, you could just see the spine, and it's just sitting there with some other books stacked on top of it. But what's so funny about it, and you know, it's thick. It looks like an encyclopedia, so it looks like he's getting really into it, right? But what's so funny is this book is not a geology book. It has a little scientific information on each crystal. Actually, a lot for a metaphysical book, but it's a metaphysical book. I love it. So Hank is the last person in the world. In fact, if Hank had opened this book and read what was in it, he probably would have thrown it across the room at somebody's head. So I think it's so funny that this book is sitting there at his bedside table as the book that he's consulting on geology. And I'm probably the only person who would have picked that out. But maybe some of you guys did too. So, and so sorry if I bored you to death with this and you're not into Breaking Bad. But if I piqued your interest on it, it's totally worth getting 100% addicted and into. And like I am right now, it's absolutely nuts. Oh, nutballs. I love it. Okay, but anyway, just wanted to do a video on this because I was so excited about it and just wanted to... And you guys are the only ones who are going to get this whole thing. I mean, if I go talk to this, to geology people, they're going to be like, whatever, who cares? That's a huge, like, snafu, you know, that they didn't catch, but probably nobody else will catch it either, and so who cares, right? I do. Okay, namaste.